She told me I can't put my life on hold waiting for it to be over, while my mom was dying in the hospital room behind us. I just said okay and walked away. I'm Nalan, 34, been teaching chemistry at Lincoln High in Portland for almost 10 years now. Not exactly rolling in money, but I love what I do. My girlfriend Sienna, 32, and I have been together 3.5 years. She works in pharma sales, makes good money, drives a nice car, the whole deal. 8 months ago, my mom got diagnosed with stage IV pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave her maybe a year, probably less. She's all I've got. Dad left when I was 6, and it's been just us since. I became the man of the house at an age when I should have been playing with action figures. So when she got sick, there was no question. I took family leave from school, moved back into my childhood home to take care of her full time. Chemo appointments, medications, cooking meals she could actually keep down, sitting with her through the bad nights. Sienna said she understood, that she'd support me through it. The first couple months she'd come by after work sometimes. Bring takeout, sit with us, normal stuff. But around month 3, the visits got less frequent. She started being too busy with work. Our conversations got shorter. When I tried to talk about it, she'd say she was just stressed, that pharma sales is demanding. I believed her because I wanted to. And to be honest, I didn't have the energy to think about anything else rather than my mom. Last Tuesday night, I was at the hospital. Mom had taken a bad turn, fever, couldn't keep anything down. They admitted her for observation. I'd been there since 6 a.m. just sitting with her, watching her sleep, trying not to think about what the doctor had said earlier about making her comfortable. Around 11 p.m., I stepped out into the hallway to grab coffee from the vending machine. That's when Sienna showed up. I hadn't even told her we were at the hospital. I'd stopped texting her every update because she'd stopped really responding. "Hey," she said. She looked uncomfortable, wouldn't quite meet my eyes. Her hair was done, makeup perfect, like she'd prepared for this. "Hey, what are you doing here?" My voice came out flat. I was too tired for inflection. We need to talk." My stomach dropped. You know that feeling when you already know what's coming but your brain refuses to accept it? That. "Now here." I gestured toward my mom's room. Through the window I could see her sleeping, the monitors beeping steadily. I've been trying to find the right time, but there never is one, so... She took a breath, like she was about to jump into cold water. "I can't do this anymore, Nalan. I can't put my life on hold waiting for it to be over." The fluorescent lights hummed above us. Somewhere down the hall, a nurse was laughing at something. Normal hospital sounds. But those words hung in the air like smoke. Waiting for it to be over, my mom. She was talking about my mom dying like it was an inconvenient work project. Like she was delayed at the DMV instead of fighting for every breath. I just stared at her. Part of me wanted to yell, to ask her what the hell was wrong with her, but mostly I just felt empty, like something had unplugged inside me. "Okay," I said. "Okay, that's it." "What do you want me to say, Sienna? You've clearly made up your mind. You came to a hospital where my mom is dying to break up with me. I don't think there's much left to discuss." She looked like she wanted to say more, but I turned and walked back into Mom's room, sat back down in the chair next to her bed, deleted Sienna's number from my phone, blocked her on everything. The whole time Mom was sleeping, had no idea what just happened in the hallway. That was 4 days ago. I'm writing this from my mom's house at 2 a.m. because I can't sleep. The hospice nurse says it could be any day now. Hours, maybe. Sienna hasn't tried to contact me once. Not a text from a friend's phone, not an email, nothing. She just walked away and that was it. I keep thinking I should feel something, anger, sadness, betrayal. But I'm just numb. Maybe I'm in shock. Maybe I've used up all my emotions on watching my mom fade away and there's nothing left for this. The woman I thought I'd marry couldn't even pretend to care that my mom is dying. That tells me everything I need to know. Update 1. 3 weeks later. Sorry for the delay, guys. Had to get my phone screen fixed after I dropped it, then work has been insane trying to catch up on everything I missed. Thanks for all the messages. Mom passed away 2 Mondays ago, 6:47 a.m. I was holding her hand. It was peaceful, which is all I could have asked for. Funeral was that Friday. I was devastated but somehow managed to push through the entire funeral process. But you know what's messed up? I kept half expecting Sienna to show up. Not because I wanted her there, but because it seemed like basic human decency, right? We were together 3.5 years. She knew my mom. We had dinners together. Mom taught her how to make her famous lasagna. They went shopping together. Nothing. No text. No flowers. Didn't show up to the funeral. Radio silence. My best friend Rashid was my rock through all of it. He filtered my phone for me, handled people I couldn't deal with, made sure I ate. Good dude. He kept saying, don't even think about her right now, man. Focus on your mom, focus on you. The funeral was small. Mom didn't have much family left, some cousins who flew in, a few old friends from her teaching days, my colleagues from school. It was nice. Sad as hell, but nice to be surrounded by the people who knew and loved her. After everyone left, the lawyer pulled me aside, said we needed to schedule a meeting to go over Mom's estate. I figured it would be the house and whatever she had in savings. Mom was a teacher too, lived modestly. I wasn't expecting much, and honestly, I didn't care. You can't put a price on the woman who raised you alone. The meeting was this past Monday. I showed up at the lawyer's office expecting to sign some papers, maybe get the deed to the house, find out she had like $50K in savings or something. What I got instead made me feel like I'd walked into someone else's life. $2.8 million in various accounts and investments. 28% equity stake in a tech company called TechVista Solutions. A board seat at said company. I literally asked the lawyer if he had the right person. He smiled and showed me all the documents. All legit. All mine. Turns out my Uncle James, my mom's older brother who died back in 2019, founded TechVista back in the 90s. I knew he had done well for himself, but I had no idea he was tech startup rich. When he died, he left everything to Mom. She never said a word, just kept teaching, kept living in the same house, kept driving her 2012 Honda. The lawyer said she told him she wanted me to build character and not rely on family money. She was going to tell me when I had my own family, apparently. Cancer had other plans. I sat in that office for 2 hours just staring at papers. Rashid picked me up because I was too messed up to drive. We went to his place. I drank half a bottle of whiskey, and he ordered pizza while I processed the fact that my entire understanding of my life had just shifted. Here's where it gets even weirder. 3 days after that meeting, so last Thursday, Rashid was scrolling Instagram and suddenly went quiet. That's never good. Don't look at this, he said, which of course meant I had to look at it. It was a post from Madison, one of our mutual friends. Tagged location, Le Pigeon, this fancy-ass restaurant downtown I could never afford on a teacher's salary. The photo showed Sienna, Madison, and 2 guys I didn't recognize. Everyone dressed up, wine glasses, the whole scene. The caption, when your girl finds her upgrade, at Sienna Pruitt at Brett Caldwell. I zoomed in on the guy tagged next to Sienna. Brett Caldwell, 36 according to his profile, VP of sales at some company. His bio listed his salary range, $185K plus dollars, photos of him at tech conferences, nice car, expensive watch. The photo was posted the day after my mom's funeral. Rashid was watching my face. Bro, I'm so sorry. But somehow I didn't feel angry, I felt clarity. Like something that had been fuzzy for months suddenly came into focus. Sienna didn't leave because she couldn't handle my mom being sick or me not giving her enough attention. She left because she found someone better, someone with money and status, someone who wasn't a public school teacher taking care of his dying mother. The hospital timing wasn't cruel, it was convenient. She'd probably been seeing this Brett guy for weeks, maybe months. She just needed to wait for the right moment to trade up. I handed Rashid his phone back. Block Madison. Block anyone who's friends with Sienna on social media. Done. And if she ever tries to contact me through you, tell her to fuck off. With pleasure. I went home that night and didn't think about Sienna once. I thought about my mom, about how she lived on a teacher's salary when she had millions in the bank because she wanted me to learn the value of hard work. About how she never told me about Uncle James's company because she wanted me to make my own way. And I thought about how Sienna showed her true colors at exactly the right time, before I knew about the money, before I knew about TechVista. Rashid texted me around midnight. You good? Me, yeah. For the first time in months, I actually am. But what I didn't tell him, what I couldn't tell anyone yet, was that when the lawyer was going over the TechVista paperwork, I saw the employee directory. And there, listed as Vice President of Sales, reporting directly to the CEO, was Brett Caldwell's name. The company I now own 28% of. The company where I have a board seat. The company where Sienna's new upgrade works. Small world, right? Update 2. 6 weeks later, life's been weird. Had to deal with a lot of legal stuff with the estate, and honestly, I've been in my head a lot. Wi-Fi was down for 3 days last week, which was probably a blessing because it forced me to actually think instead of doom scrolling. So, a lot has happened. First off, turns out Portland's not as big as you think when money's involved. Word got out somehow about the inheritance. Probably through the lawyer's office or the TechVista board, but suddenly people started knowing that Hayes inherited big from his uncle's tech company. You know how gossip works in professional circles. This reached Sienna about 2 weeks after my last update. I know this because that's when the messages started. Week 4, after Mom's funeral, my blocked phone started showing blocked contact attempted to call notifications. 7 times in one day. Then texts started coming through before I could block the new numbers. Nolan, I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you. Can we please talk? I made a mistake. All read, all ignored. I didn't respond to a single one. Madison tried calling Rashad. He picked up, listened for 30 seconds, then said Sienna needs to stop calling people trying to get to Nolan. It's pathetic. Lose my number. Then hung up. But here's what I learned from Rashad's girl Tasha, who works in tech recruiting. Brett also found out who I was. About a week after Sienna found out about the money, someone told Brett that TechVista's new board member, you know, the one who inherited 28% of the company from the founder, was his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. The same ex-boyfriend she probably cheated on and dumped while his mom was dying in the hospital. Tasha said she heard through the grapevine that Brett lost his shit. See, TechVista's been planning layoffs. They've got a board meeting coming up to vote on cutting 10% of staff. Brett's department is on the chopping block. And now the guy who literally broke up with his girlfriend 8 weeks ago owns a huge chunk of the company and has a say in whether Brett keeps his job. The text from Sienna got even more desperate. Please, Nolan. I know I hurt you. Can we just talk? I still care about you. I was scared and I ran. I'm sorry. Brett keeps asking about you. This is so awkward. Can you please just respond? All read at random times, sometimes immediately, sometimes hours later, sometimes days later. Never responded to any of them, not once. My first board meeting was week 6. They do them on Zoom. I kept my camera off, said I was sick. The CEO, Philip Torres, welcomed me, gave his condolences about Mom, and we got down to business. The layoff discussion came up. They wanted to cut 10% across sales and operations. Brett was in the meeting presenting the numbers. I could see his face on camera. He looked stressed as hell, kept glancing at the participant list where my name was. I asked some questions about the data. Suggested we table the decision until next month when we had more complete revenue projections. The CEO agreed. Meeting adjourned. I never acknowledged Brett's existence the entire call. Didn't say his name, didn't look at his camera window when he was talking. Just treated him like any other VP presenting numbers. Brett still looked like he was going to throw up the whole time. Week 7, Sienna started showing up at my mom's old house. I'd moved back to my apartment by then and was getting ready to sell it, but I'd go by to pack things up. She'd be sitting in her car outside. I'd see her go back to my car and leave. She'd follow for a few blocks, then give up. 15 texts a day, all read, 0 responses. Week 8, she sent a letter to my apartment, a real handwritten letter. 5 pages about how she made a mistake, how she was scared, how she realizes now what really matters. There was a photo album with it, pictures of us from over the years. I donated the whole thing to Goodwill without opening the album. Didn't read past the first paragraph of the letter. She found out. She must have tracked the donation or something because I got a text. You donated our memories to Goodwill. You didn't even look at them. Read 11:34 p.m. No response. Week 9, she tried everything. LinkedIn message. Work email she somehow got. She even got her sister Kelsey to call me. I answered that one by accident. Nolan, please, Sienna's a mess. She knows she messed up. Can you at least talk to her? Kelsey, I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this, but no, tell your sister to stop contacting me. She really loves you. She just got scared when your mom got sick and she broke up with me in a hospital hallway while my mom was dying and then was posting pictures with her new boyfriend the day after my mom's funeral. I don't care if she's scared or sorry. I'm done. Please don't call me again. I hung up, blocked her too. Week 10, Sienna showed up at Rashed's place. He texted me. She's at my door crying. Want me to tell her to leave me? Tell her whatever you want. He called me 20 minutes later laughing. Bro, I told her you posted pics with Brett at a fancy restaurant the day after his mom's funeral. You don't get to cry on doorsteps now. She said that was just friends having dinner. I said friends. Madison's caption said you found your upgrade. She left. The Tech Vista board met again in week 8. The layoffs happened, 10% across the board. Brett survived, but barely. His department got cut the deepest. Then in week 10, something crazy happened. A client I'd connected Tech Vista with through my teaching network, a guy who runs educational software, signed an $8 million contract. Philip called me personally to thank me, said it secured the sales division's future. Brett's job was now safe because of me, because I made one call to a former colleague who needed exactly what Tech Vista sells. I didn't do it for Brett. I did it because it was good for the company my uncle built, but the irony wasn't lost on me. Brett and Sienna's relationship, though, from what Tasha heard, was deteriorating. Brett apparently told Sienna she was obsessed with her ex, and it was affecting his work stress. He started creating distance. The same word Sienna had used on me when I was caring for my dying mom. Last week, week 11, the messages finally stopped. Just nothing. After weeks of constant texts, calls, letters, showing up places, it all went quiet. I should feel relieved. And I do, kind of. But there's also this weird feeling that I can't quite name, like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Rashed thinks she finally gave up. Tasha thinks Brett told her to knock it off. I don't know what to think. All I know is I read every single message she sent. Every text, every voicemail transcript, every email. I just never responded to any of them. And somehow, that silence feels like the most honest thing I've ever said to her. But I have a feeling this isn't over yet. You don't go from that level of desperate to radio silence without something happening. And knowing my luck lately, whatever that something is, it's going to be complicated. Final update, 14 weeks post-breakup, writing this from my new place. Sold mom's house last month, bought a condo downtown with the money. Don't need the memories in every room. I've been in therapy for about 6 weeks now, twice a week. It helps. Talking about mom, about growing up without a dad, about being the man of the house at 6 years old. About how I learned to handle everything alone and how that made me an easy target for someone like Sienna. Took a sabbatical from school for the rest of the year. The principal understood. I used some of the inheritance money to set up a scholarship fund in mom's name, $50K a year for students going into teaching. First award ceremony is next month. Mom would have loved that. I've been planning this trip to New Zealand. Mom always wanted to go but never had the chance. Now I do, and I'm going for both of us. Leaving tomorrow, actually. The Tech Vista board meeting in week 12 went well. We approved expansion into 2 new markets. I transitioned to more of an advisory role. Turns out I don't actually want to run a tech company. I just want to make sure Uncle James's legacy stays solid. Philip's a good CEO. He's got it handled. Brett got promoted. VP of Sales to Senior VP, bigger salary, more responsibility. The $8 million contract I helped land made him look good. He sent me a thank you email after the board meeting, professional brief. I responded with glad to see the company growing. That was it. But here's what you actually want to know about. Week 13, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Brett. I need you to know I ended things with Sienna. This has nothing to do with you or the company. She's been hung up on you since we got together, and I need someone who's actually present. I thought you should know so there's no awkwardness at work. I stared at that message for a long time. He used her own words from the hospital. Actually present. The same thing she'd implied about me when she left, that I wasn't present because I was caring for my dying mother. Karma's got a weird sense of humor. I didn't respond, just blocked the number. The next day I got a long text from Sienna's number. I almost blocked it immediately, but something made me read it. It was long, really long, about how she'd been doing a lot of thinking. How she realized she'd traded something real for something shiny and lost both. How she knew now that I was the right person all along, and she'd been too scared to see what really mattered when things got hard with Mom. How she'd made the biggest mistake of her life, walking away from me at the hospital. How watching Brett walk away from her using the same reasoning she'd used on me made her finally understand what she'd done. How she was so sorry, and even though she knew I'd never forgive her, she needed me to know that she understood now. That she'd been wrong. That she'd hurt the one person who actually loved her for who she was, not what she could do for him. I read it at 11:34 p.m. while packing for New Zealand. Read. Never responded, and I never will, because here's what I realized in therapy. Sienna's not sorry she left. She's sorry she left the wrong person. She's not sorry she chose money and status over love. She's sorry the money and status didn't work out. If Brett hadn't dumped her, I'd never have gotten that message. If the inheritance never happened, she'd still be posting pictures with him at expensive restaurants. Her apology isn't about hurting me. It's about losing her backup plan. Closure is for people who deserve answers. Sienna doesn't deserve mine. Quick note from Auckland, it's been about 6 weeks since that last update. I'm sitting in a cafe overlooking the harbor, just got back from bungee jumping off the Sky Tower. Mom would have loved this. She would have been terrified, but she would have done it anyway. That was her style. The scholarship got awarded last month. Rashid sent me pictures. 3 students all going into education. One of them is the daughter of a single mom, plans to teach chemistry. I cried when I read her essay. Sienna stopped trying to contact me around week 15. Heard through Tasha that she moved to Seattle for a new job. Fresh start apparently. Good for her, I guess. I still read that last message sometimes. Not because I'm considering responding, I'm not. But because it reminds me of something important. She hurt me and I healed. She stayed hurt. That's not revenge, that's just consequence. Someone asked in my DMs if I ever felt bad about not responding to her apologies. Honestly, no. She wanted engagement, anger, forgiveness, conversation, anything. Something she could work with or work through. I gave her nothing, and that nothing was my answer. The most powerful word you can give someone sometimes is silence, not as punishment, but because you genuinely have nothing left to say to them. Anyway, I've got a flight to Iceland in the morning. Northern Lights are supposed to be incredible this time of year, adding one more place to the list Mom never got to see but I can see for both of us. To everyone who followed this whole mess, thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. Thanks for telling me I wasn't crazy when I needed to hear it. Life's weird. Sometimes the worst things lead to clarity you didn't know you needed. Sometimes the people who leave do you the biggest favor. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anything you could say. Sienna wanted an answer. I never gave her one. That was the answer. Peace out, guys. I'm going to go watch the sun set over the ocean and not think about any of this for a while.